morning. Nicole and Michelle with you here on our Weather Wake Up. We are in Storm Watch. Exactly, and so we're definitely following the nor'easter moving into Atlantic Canada. The snow returns to Ontario, so the hashtag #ONSnow will be used out there on social media. And the Easter forecast, Friday, of course, Michelle, is just around the corner. A lot of people have not only Friday off, but into the start of the week. But the kids, a lot of them have today off through parts of the Maritime provinces.
Yes, and here's why. Let's take a look at the radar just in terms of what we're seeing. That snowfall pushing through New Brunswick, mostly a snow story, but then we're getting into that mixing and also watching out for that freezing rain, and that's going to be an issue throughout parts of the Maritime.
That's right, and we do have some warnings in place through Atlantic Canada. Newfoundland, it's some wind warnings for you, which really pick up through tomorrow. And then, Michelle, we've got these snowfall warnings in place through Nova Scotia as well as New Brunswick. Halifax is going to change over to rain. You're not really getting the worst of it, but places like Moncton, St. John, Fredericton, we're going to see a heavy swath of snow. That's in white. And, Michelle, we got Nathan joining us this morning. Traveled from Halifax all the way over to St. John, New Brunswick. How are you doing, Nathan?
I'm doing good.
Thanks so much for that, Nathan. Let's talk about that risk for freezing rain quickly, because we do have that potential as we head throughout the day. And watching out for Newfoundland for a messy mix as well, but we'll have more on that coming up right now. Chris Murphy joins us with a look at the next one. Chris?
That's right. Our live Storm Watch coverage continues. Nicole Carkick and Michelle Nelson joining the morning show as well. As we look at our top weather stories that we're following for today, a slew of warnings in place, Michelle. We've got wind warnings in Newfoundland. We've got winter storm warnings as well as snowfall warnings. So Nathan Coleman talking about it all out east. We've got Nathan in St. John, New Brunswick. Good morning, Nathan.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Nathan. We do have a lot of warnings, as Nicole was mentioning, and those gusty conditions, blowing snow is going to be a huge issue.
It certainly will. And for Newfoundland, it's going to really pick up through tonight into tomorrow. For the winter storm warnings, we've got St. John included. For Nova Scotia, Annapolis Valley to Cumberland County is where we're seeing the snowfall warnings. Halifax, you're going to change over to rain, not as bad for you. And then parts of Labrador as well, getting into it with some winter storm warnings in place. The timing again for you is going to be tonight through tomorrow, but we really do want to stress that the winds are going to be really bad for the Maritime provinces as this system parts, Michelle.
Yeah, with gusts of about 100 kilometers an hour, so very windy conditions. Mainly a snow story for New Brunswick as well, as so visibility will be a key issue if you are heading out. And then for this evening, for Newfoundland, watching out for a bit of mixing snow and then also that transitioning to rain throughout parts of the Maritimes.
And the pink is where we could see the mixing, the ice pellets, the freezing rain. So Charlottetown, you're sort of the zone in PEI that starts to see the mixing, whereas as we go west of that, you're going to see just snow. Kevin, you're joining us this morning in southern Ontario, and we're getting ready for some active weather this week, Kevin. Well, we'll hear from Kevin and hear what people are saying out there, but the message is keep your winter tires on. What happens Tuesday into Wednesday, Michelle, is sort of just a little taste of what's to come as we get into Wednesday.
I know, and finally we're at spring, but still looking at some snowfall. We'll have more on that and just how much to expect coming up later in the hour. But right now, let's take a look at those locals.
This afternoon, back to you, Michelle.
Thanks so much for that, Nathan. Yeah, it's definitely a cool start to the day in Ontario. So if you are heading out, you will need those gloves. I'd even suggest bringing a toque. Daytime highs, Ottawa, Toronto, hovering around that 3-degree mark. But calm conditions today. If you're wondering where the snow is, well, it is coming in. As we head towards the middle of this week, we are looking at some active weather. So don't get those snow tires off just yet. Yes, we are now into spring, but looking at some system snow for tomorrow. And then by the middle of the week, well, that's when we get into the next one. For more on that, I'll throw it in to Chris Murphy.
Storm Watch on this Monday morning. Nicole Carkick and Michelle Nelson joining the morning show as well. So we've got a lot to talk about this morning, Michelle.
Yeah, lots to talk about, including all of that active weather in the east. We're dealing with that nor'easter, some snow for some areas. And then we're also watching out for the risk for freezing rain. So we do still have a number of warnings in place. Of course, our Storm Watch, that continues.
That's right. So we'll take you to this video right here to give you a taste of what is to come, because the spring, the winter, it's going to be battling it out again this week in many areas. So we're talking about the nor'easter. We're talking about snow returning to Ontario, even now towards Toronto, Ottawa, and over towards Quebec as well. And our Easter forecast, which is, of course, on Friday, Michelle.
Yeah, the long weekend is just ahead. But first, let's get all to the active weather. There's snowfall and then even some mixing. That's what we're picking up right now on the radar in southern portions of Nova Scotia. And this is set to continue for the day. The winds also going to be a big issue.
Yeah, so we do have wind warnings in place. That's sort of yellow color here on this map. There's freezing rain warnings as well, just issued this morning through central Newfoundland. So a few hours of that. That's doesn't begin till later. Right now, we're concerned about the maritime provinces where there are school closures. We've got these winter storm warnings for the strong winds, the heavy snow. For Nova Scotia itself, Michelle, we've got the lighter blue color. That's less snow because you're going to transition to rain and some ice pellets. But St. John to Fredericton could see up to 25, 30 centimeters of snow, and also the freezing rain, Michelle.
Yeah, so keep those shovels handy if you are heading out tonight. Watch out for those icy conditions. But even throughout the day today, we'll see that freezing rain line start to push in for Newfoundland as we head into late this evening through the overnight. For more on the active weather, Nathan Coleman joins us outside, braving the elements and some snowy conditions. Nathan?
Storm watch on this Monday morning. Lots of people rolling back to work after March break,
yes.
Michelle. And it is a messy storm system to talk about for you in Atlantic Canada. Let's talk about some of these warnings.
Yeah, we have a number of warnings. Watching out for that freezing rain. That's going to be a big issue. But also the snowfall. And if you're in New Brunswick, mostly a snow story for you. We could see 20 to 30 centimeters. We'll show you where in just a moment. But also some very gusty conditions. We have those wind warnings in place.
Yeah, and then eventually this will track towards parts of Labrador where we have some winter storm warnings in place, blizzard warnings too along the shorelines. So certainly a big wind event. As far as snow goes, yeah, New Brunswick, like you said, Michelle, that's all the blues. So that's going to be snow predominantly. We start to see this afternoon, though, some freezing rain and rain moving into Nova Scotia as well as parts of PEI. It's going to stay sort of on the east side of PEI, so Charlottetown into it. Newfoundland starts off as snow, but then that could also change over to some freezing rain as well as some rain.
Yeah, so it's going to get a bit tricky out there in terms of those driving conditions. Let's head out. Nathan Coleman joins us, and Nathan, you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, it sure is. And you know what? Oftentimes when we have seen Nathan out east in the Maritime provinces this winter, he's been dealing with rain. So this is quite a change. In Ontario, we've got Kevin Yard joining us. There he is, Kevin, wearing a lighter jacket than Nathan out east. How are you doing in Toronto?
Thanks so much for that. Unfortunately, I think we were having a bit of technical difficulties there, but let's get right into this. This is something cool. We did
today is don't take off those winter tires.
Yes.
We've got a storm, Michelle, coming through Wednesday to Thursday. Now, Tuesday we have snow in Ontario as well in Quebec, but that is not to be confused with this bigger system. So we're going to see some cold air meeting up with warm air, and that's where it gets a little complicated because you can stay straight as snow, which is really what we're probably going to see around ski country, but we got that messy mix for a lot of areas along the 401 corridor.
Yeah, we're also watching out for that rain-snow mix, as you mentioned. But by Thursday afternoon, just along that warm front, that's where we have that risk of seeing that freezing rain. So something we're keeping a very close eye on as we head towards the middle of the week.
Exactly. And we'll talk more about the totals and what's going on, but perspective in terms of different model runs. This is the GFS moving the storm system a little bit quicker than the European. That's right, storm watch for this Monday morning. Lots of people getting back to their regular routine after March break, and spring and winter are battling it out this week.
Yeah, let's head to Ottawa because we did have that big warm-up. This wasn't too long ago. Cool.
It's really going to be on Tuesday into Wednesday, Michelle, that we're going to see this snow move in. Parts of ski country probably seeing more snow than, say, down towards Toronto or Ottawa. This is really just some mixing. And this Tuesday story is not the big one we're following. It's Wednesday into Thursday, Michelle, that we're very concerned about.
Yeah, it's this next one. So that's going to be a midweek story, and we could see significant snowfall for some. Of course, this could have a big impact on the commute and right before the Easter long weekend.
Yeah, and right now it's just a bit of energy over the West Coast. So until it starts to develop over land, we won't have a good handle on exactly how much snow will fall and the timing. But what we do know is that Wednesday into Thursday, cold air and warm air are going to meet up. So that's going to be where we see the dividing line between, say, rain or freezing rain or ice pellets. Certainly messy through Thursday into Quebec. So Wednesday, Ontario, Thursday, it's a Quebec story. And then as we look at a couple of different models, Michelle, and this is what we do here behind the scenes as we compare a lot of different model runs. This one is the GFS, and it looks to be moving a little bit quicker than, say, the European model at this point.
Yeah, so not in agreement quite yet, but we do have a special weather statement in place, and that's ahead of the active weather that will push in for the middle of the week. We'll have more on that coming up. But right now, Kevin Yard joins us outside, and it is a bit of a cool start to the day, Kevin.
We do have a lot of warnings in place, Michelle, for snowfall, winter storm warnings for the Bay of Fundy. And this is concerning. This morning, Environment Canada issued a freezing rain warning for central Newfoundland.
Yeah, so we're watching out for that, especially later this evening for Newfoundland. But those gusty conditions with winds gusting over 100 kilometers an hour. So blowing snow will be an issue in those areas where we are going to see a fairly decent amount of it.
Yeah, and strong enough even that we've got a blizzard warning for parts of Labrador here. That's that red color, winter storm warnings as well. indicating the strong winds. As we look to this afternoon, blue is where we see the snow, so certainly New Brunswick, parts of PEI, but the pink, Michelle, that's where we're going to start to see some mixing, some freezing rain potentially as well.
Cool after March break. And then as we head towards the weekend, well, that's where we get into the Easter weekend. But that snowfall, mainly a snow story for New Brunswick, western parts of PEI, and then eastern parts of PEI and Nova Scotia. We're really getting into the mixing, so that's something we're keeping a very close eye on here at the Weather Network. We'll have more on that active weather. The storm watch continues, but right now, a look at your locals.
Back into you, Michelle.
Thanks so much for that, Nathan. And a completely different scene here. We're dealing with calm conditions. Now, it is a cool start to the day. So if you're heading out in southern Ontario, southern Quebec today, make sure you throw on a few extra layers. You will need those mitts. But later on, we're expecting daytime highs in Toronto through to Ottawa around that 3-degree mark. But do keep those winter tires on. Keep the shovels handy because we have that active weather. That's going to push in as we head towards the middle of the week. And for more on that, the next one, Nicole joins us.